Hello and welcome to Intertextual Experience, where much like a 45 on your record player carries a unique sound across the room, this episode's 45th guest, or the show's 45th guest, Taylor Reiner, has spun around and come full circle by returning to the show and is ready to share some sound waves with you. How are you doing today, Taylor?
I'm doing great. I love that intro. Thank you for
Yeah,
having
I like I butchered it twice in there, but
me.
nonetheless, when I was like looking up things about 45 and trying to think of that, I saw there's a trick-taking game called 45s.
Oh, am I? I know of 42. That's the domino one. What's 45? I actually am unfamiliar.
Here, I'll type it in. Basically, it has a wiki page. Says it's originated in Ireland, also known as Auction 45s, Auction 120s, 120, and Growl.
Yes, 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 yes. I think Sean Ross of Haggis fame was playing this in celebration of, what was it? Something.
Yeah,
Probably something related to Ireland. Is Irish
prob.
right?
Yep, yep. Yeah, it said it was originated in Ireland.
Oh man, I have not played. I am sad that I have not, but I will. This will be on the top of my list.
It's been, like I said in the intro, you returned, so I haven't scared you away from the show, which is nice.
No, not at all. Like a boomerang.
Like
Yes,
like Boomerang.
I'm
Yeah,
so
Reiner
back.
just coming back.
Yes.
But it's been I just checked, I re-listened to our episode recently, and it's been about 2.5 years since you were on the show last.
Wow. Wow. That
Yep.
is wild.
September 2023.
That is so wild. It seems like not that long ago. Am I wild to think that time has flown?
I think time has flown.
Yeah. 2.5 years. So that was probably. Yeah, we were probably talking about, oh yes, was it like secretly Lord of the Rings was not out yet?
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting too because we I think your development in general at that point were with Mori. So we talked about Mori a little bit,
Yeah.
and then a little bit of the expansion work that you did for sale.
Oh, totally.
But otherwise, I think in terms of, the Lord of the Ring trick-taking games
Mhm.
and some of your other like,
Yeah.
solo design work stuff
Mhm.
wasn't really out there. Like, I
Right.
mean, it existed because it was, in the pipeline, but it
Sure.
wasn't there.
Yeah, it's one of those like yeah, if a game hasn't released in the woods, does anybody play it? Because it's like I there so I mean as evidenced by the fact that 2.5 years ago we me and Brian Bormula, the designer of the Lord of the Rings games, were meeting and we were talking about them and working on them. And the fact that I think the Two Towers kind of, well, 2 or 3 months now has kind of just come out. Um, and the pipeline is so deep with those games that we've finished Return of the King, which isn't even out. And I think like the funny thing is, yeah, 2.5 years was definitely the start of this all. So it's cool to be here and now and be like, oh, cool. Not not that it how do I say this? Not that there's still not more things that I still cannot not talk about, but it's still really cool to see more and more out there and like how well, I mean, Lord of the Rings is it's wild. I think it's one thing that it's fun to do like every week. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'll check like where it's at on the PG ranking. It's just so surreal to have worked on a game that's like climbing, quote unquote. Like it recently passed Magic the Gathering, which is so surreal. Because Magic is just like this insane, like pinnacle of the industry. Um, and obviously, like at that point, like how do you even compare these games? It's so apples and oranges. But anywho, yes, it's so wild. To that 2.5 years ago, we were talking, um, and I think like after the episode, you and I were like, "Oh, like this is interesting." Next time we talk, we might be talking about Lord of the Rings stuff. So it's cool that
Yeah.
we can talk about it.
Yeah, because we were talking about, movies and and kind of hinting at the idea of, themes or IPs or settings and all that. And
Right,
yeah,
right.
well, here I just pulled it up. 166 for the Fellowship.
Yeah, pretty wild, huh? Like I don't like how do I like I'm not trying to what's the right word? I'm trying to be not, is it modest? I don't know what the right word is. But it's just surreal. Uh and like it's so wild. But yeah, yeah, super interesting because I think part of the appeal to a lot of people is the IP. And it's cool to essentially have that IP be a smorgasbord of different trick-taking games is essentially what the game kind of is. Where we'll be playing and it's like, oh, this is a nod to Skull King. This is a nod to Hearts or Doppelkopf or whatever. So it's almost like a here's what trick-taking kind of is to people who maybe haven't dabbled in like how the variety of them all of people who have like 100 trick-taking small box games and pull them out every night as like a little smorgasbord of delights.
Yeah, that's neat. And that's kind of what did you listen to the Dan Thoreau episode with Brian then where
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yes, that was awesome. And I think like they both, I think part of the fun of an IP is like how much it can ingratiate itself to folks. Like with if it's like it's technically this game, this trick taking game is like this new game. It has like this new way to play and like you learn it and it's a puzzle and it's a game and it's stuff, but it has like this IP that feels inviting and warm to so many people. And it was cool to hear how Dan interacted with like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit kind of like inherently and then how that shaped maybe um, someone's experience with the game. But yeah, that was really cool.
all right. Well, now that you're talking about that, I'm gonna have to say that you need to hold your horses and Haradrim. I don't know if I
Yeah,
pronounced that
yeah, no, no, I got you.
correctly. Okay. Because all this awesome stuff that you're doing, um, it might get alluded to, but it's
Mhm.
time for a quiz.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So if anybody wants to hear you talk about all these awesome things, they're gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Who knows how long, but nonetheless, all right, we'll get to it.
This feels like, did you ever play Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green or Blue? Like Blaine's gym is behind all these like quizzes. And like
Oh,
you don't have to like fight the trainers if you do the quiz right, but then at the end
okay.
you get a badge. And sorry, this is never
No, that's what we're here for. We can't talk about your games anymore, but we can talk about Pokemon Fire Red. Go
Yeah,
for
exactly.
it.
I just love the idea of like, is it gatekeeping? It was like locking something behind a quiz is perfect. So I'm so excited.
Perfect. Well, we've done the quiz, so now we're on to the quiz two. Quiz two, I don't know. You can pick, and technically you will have some say in what the official title for the episode is, but would you
Mm.
prefer for this to be the quiz two or just quiz two?
So the quiz two or quiz two?
Yes, those are the options.
This is like Facebook kind
Yep.
of vibes.
Hmm.
I like I like the quiz too. There's something about the.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for it. The quiz too.
The and then when you're feeling very formal, you can say the quiz two. Okay.
Oh,
So
right. The.
so we're a part of the quiz
Oh,
is I mean, I'm not going to be super mean and not let you talk at all because you can explain your answers, but I'm going to be like the teacher over your shoulder being like, "All right, we got, a half hour to do this quiz, okay?" So,
got it. Love it.
but
Speed
it's
round.
going to be wackier than last time. All right?
Ooh,
Okay.
yes.
And there's going to be some kind of callbacks. I don't want it to be too referential to the first quiz, but I think it is in conversation
Mhm.
with it at times. So I will
SSX
try to like get rid
Tricky.
of yes. Well, we'll see. We'll see if SSX Tricky pops up. But in one year, okay, so I'll give one quick little bit. This is question one. So this is a little preface, and most of them don't actually have
Okay.
prefaces. But I wrote this one a long time ago. And then I was listening back to the episode, and one of the questions was talking about if you had to reduce your collection to five
Mm,
trick takers. And your answer, I think you technically had more than five at some point, or I don't know how I like pared it down to the five. But you mentioned crew and crew two, and I think you decided on the crew two at that point in time. But with a little bit 2.5 years of hindsight,
mm,
if you were going to have to keep one for your collection, I'm giving you the chance to rethink it. Are you keeping crew or crew two? So crew, mission deep sea, or um,
mm.
whatever the other one is.
Yeah, Planet Nine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question because the Crew 3 is on the horizon. I think it's like a few months
Mm.
out. And that boasts some possibly, like end all be all crew possibilities. So, in 2.5 other years, when the record comes back around, we'll have another question. But I think two, yeah. To keep this lightning round, I think two just it's the one that has a cleaner endless mode, if you could call it that. And it's more fun to pick a random mission and just go for it on that one as opposed to the crew one. I played through the crew one recently and it was good, but there's just a little bit of fluff. So I think crew two.
Yeah. Good. I was yeah. I don't really have a ton of thoughts. Like I think if you asked me one day versus the next, I could probably change my answer. Except for the fact that I gave my copy of my first one away as a gift and I have the second one, so I guess that also answers the question as well. So
Yeah, you have like a physical answer.
yeah. Okay, so then similarly, question two is what do you think is the best trick-taking sequel? This could be directly like one of the crews to the next. It could be something that you would deem a spiritual successor as well.
Mm,
But what is because we're this is the quiz too, so that's why there's some of these like sequely questions.
yeah, this is great. I thought a lot about this because I took a class because I was a film minor and we did a class all about sequels in film and how often sequels are not the best in films, but sometimes they are. And there's some really, really good ones and why do they work? What makes them work so well? In terms of it's hard to not think of The Crew 2 just because that is currently on my mind. But in terms of trick taking, sequels is a really interesting concept because so much of future trick taking design, I think, is informed by previous trick taking design. It's a lot of stepping on or sitting on the shoulders or using the shoulders of giants. What's the phrase? I don't know. Someone's
Standing on the shoulders,
standing.
I think.
I think that's right. That's right. Um, like I think a lot of times I've found where I'll describe something on the channel as like, hey, this is X and Y put together with a little dash of something new. And so it's funny how like even games that aren't sequels feel like sequels in some way or spin-offs or riffs. So it's hard to pick. I think the correct answer is probably The Crew 2. It's so good. But um biasly I really like Two Towers. I won't include that just because too close to home. And then I think in terms of I like there's Jekyll versus Hyde, which is really good. And then they did Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard and makes a co-op, which is still really good. Um, and it's interesting when the sequel is like a pretty different feeling game, but still, I think stands on its own. Speaking of like GeoNL, they do a lot of like two-player back and back and back, and like Faust versus Mephisto is like another two-player that's like Jekyll versus Hyde, but um, again, just like a little bit of twist. So it's really interesting. Like, what is a sequel or spiritual sequel is funny in trick taking because I think a lot of times people will play a trick taking game, designers, and be like, oh, what if that could be this? Like Bitcoin, which is a pretty great game from like a year or two ago, is very similar to Voodoo Prince or Marshmallow Test. And just the scoring's different. So like if the gameplay is the same, but the scoring's just a little bit different, like is that a spiritual sequel? It's pretty interesting. But if I had to pick like same designer, same name, I think probably Crew. Crew 2 is just great. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's like every single answer now you can just say crew two. It's like me filling in C on this quiz. It's like we got it all right.
No, totally. You're like, in addition, who do you want to come with you? It's like, yeah, the crew too. Like it's just like all different ways. It's the crew.
Well, your answer there is actually going to have me hopping to later in the quiz because you mentioned your background in film studies, and that's something I knew as well.
Mm-mm.
But this question also exists on the quiz. So, what do you think your favorite movie sequel of all time is then?
Oh, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. That is a good question.
And I'm gonna, and yeah, I feel like a lot of these I wrote best, but that it's just your favorite, that
Yeah,
that
yeah,
allows you don't have to pretend to throw
right.
down some authority on the matter.
Godfather 2, yeah, yeah, I think that's I mean Spider-Man 2 is also one that gets brought up. It's like super a hoot and a half. The Dark Knight. Um, I I think my favorite is, or yeah, this is more like subjective favorite is um I really love Home Alone 2. And I don't know if it's because
Mm.
recently moved to New York and I just see it a lot more. And it's yeah, it's like very and Home Alone 2 is probably man, it's probably better. But Home Alone 2 is just so much fun. I'm a big Tim Curry fan. So he has such a an expressive face, and it gets me every time. So I think maybe it's just because I'm in New York now and I'm reminded of it a lot. But I think I'll go Home Alone 2. It's good. It's good times. Good movie.
Nice. Yeah, good answer. I haven't seen Home Alone 2 in a minute, so
Yeah.
that'll be on my list. When I was
Yeah.
thinking about it before, I know in terms of there's probably not it's probably not like a popular opinion, but it's probably not an unpopular opinion. I would say a recent favorite sequel of mine would be the newest like Dune 2 movie. I really liked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It just got weird. I liked that they did some stylistic choices
Yeah.
and really leaned into some of the different houses.
Yeah. So I read Dune and I started reading some of the other Dunes and it gets so weird that I was like, you know what? I'm cool. I'll stop now. But also just like in yeah, like the set design, costume design, and even like the thopter, or even just like the noises where they can like I forget what it's called, but like they read each other's minds or they put their voice into other people's mind and like it sounds so insane with I don't know, whatever effect they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie. Wow, Dune 2 is a great pick. Wow. And Dune 3 just got
I the
so
trailers
yeah,
just saw a trailer at the theaters for that the other day, so
good.
good stuff. And
Yes.
then I was also thinking a lot, I mean, provided they're done well. I mean, you could say that for any sequel. I feel like uh animated films have a pretty good success rate
Yeah.
relatively.
Yeah. The Spider-Verse movies are all really, really solid. Um, I feel like they've done the sequels really well. Um, and then what's a recent? Oh man, I'm trying to think of the. I should look it up. But yeah, yeah, no, they do a great job.
Perfect. Okay, well, here. So that was question three because I moved it. I should probably actually move it in my quiz, or else I'm going to confuse myself with the numbering here. But
Oh yeah, Paddington 2 and
mm,
Puss in Boots. But yeah, some like sequel wise, really good.
yes, yeah. I mean, and then going back further, like Toy Story,
Oh,
Incredibles.
so good. Uh, I for the longest time didn't see Toy Story 2. I saw 1, then 3, then 4. And I was like, oh wow, who are these? I don't know. Like somebody I thought I had seen it, but like Jesse, I didn't know who Jesse was. Your character. And then someone's like, no, what are you talking about? Anyway, yes, Twister 2, great.
Awesome. All right. We'll hop off the sequel. I don't know. Maybe this is sequel. So okay. Question four. So behind me, I've got some of your design games. Oh, well, technically, I don't have the one listed here, but you have Of What's Left as a
Mhm.
game you designed. So that's Owl. You have Bested Another Time, which is Bat.
Oh.
You have to create a title for that's, an acronym, or the acronym of the title would be PIG.
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 Pig is great. The the funny thing with Owl and Bat is so they're three-letter animals that are flying and nocturnal. Um,
Uh,
and it's been a challenge, and I think I cheated to find a third one because I'm currently designing a third one. Um,
It's not pig.
it's not big.
Ah,
I mean, yeah, you know the phrase like when pigs sleep during the day and stay up at night and fly. Um, uh, no, but pig is great though. Pig is what's really fun is like what is it called, like a backronym where like you have
mm,
and you have to like come up with something for it. So like of what's left came out of uh, the idea of a lot of the conversation was like, oh, it's all about like what's left in your hand. Like, oh yeah, like it's all about of what's left. And then so like in conversation, I was like, oh, of what's left, OWL owl. Like that's kind of where it went. And then so for best another time, I was like, I want it to be bat. And the hook is like you play over yourself. So you best yourself another time, kind of, and like so like that's kind of like it was a little bit of a backronym. So for pig, um, uh, I mean P is probably play or something. Uh, play initiates. I don't know, but the um, pay. Oh, pay. I think what's tough is without the game of what pig would be, and also because like pigs, like, having them be what do pigs do? They eat a lot.
they eat
They
they
eat a
eat
lot.
anything. They'll just like never stop eating, right?
Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, Scout has that whole thing where like you take a card from what someone's played. That's kind of like eating it. Maybe in like Pig, it's climbing shedding, but after you play, you have to eat one of your cards. And so you like apparently shrink your cards. Um, um uh but I think Pig is I think there's something funny to those types of games where like people just call it owl or bat. Um, like I don't think I think people will call it of what's left if they don't know it yet. Like I was talking to someone, and in person they were like, "Oh yeah, of what's left, of what's left," and then I said "owl," and they were like, "Huh?" And they're like, "Oh, it says owl." Like they got it like in the conversation, and then they kept calling it owl, and so I think, yeah, I think what's funny is like you have to be okay with your game being called Pig, from then on. But I think it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So you have what I don't know. What was your backronym on this then? What
Oh,
is
Pig.
pig? What is
Yes.
it?
Uh, playing, increasing, go outs.
All right. Playing increasing. Not quite as catchy as Best at
No,
Another Time or
not at all.
my okay, so most of the time I write questions and I don't think about them for some reason. Okay. I mean, I've had a lot of these questions for such a long time that I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what? I should maybe think about them. My pig is passing is game.
Whoa, that is so much better.
But I knew the question, so that's cheating. Like you had to do it on the spot.
That is so much better though. That kind of is what bad is. Like passing is the game.
Yeah.
Um, well, I'll tell Gamehead to to make it bigs and call it passing is game. Passing is
Passing
Gamehead.
passing is game. That's it. Like
Yeah, Passing is game. That's perfect.
All right. Well, if you want to take it, you can.
Yeah,
It's
perfect.
on record.
It'll be like yeah, the credits will be like name by.
Name. Awesome. Well, you're crushing this quiz. Uh, you've used the same answer twice, and
Oh yeah,
but
wouldn't that be funny for pig? I'm like, pig, crew too. Yeah.
just like the P is silent for every letter.
Yeah, the crew too. It's PIG.
Awesome. We are on to a new feature of the quiz, and I am calling this the Tricky Minute.
Okay.
Okay. It's probably going to take more than a minute, but I have a bunch of trivia quiz question things.
Mhm.
I'll time it. I don't even know. Basically, here's the deal. I'll ask the question. If you know it or like try to answer it quickly. If you don't know it, you can say pass, and
Okay.
then maybe time dependent, even though we could revisit it. We'll see. We'll see if it's like, but these are all like trivia.
Okay,
All right,
perfect, perfect.
you ready?
I am.
Okay. Okay, the first one is has a visual as
Oh.
well. Um, I have a a bag of trick takers. I don't know if I can.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
There's
Board game
some.
tables.
Hey. Yeah, so I think I'm working still.
I
That's
my
funny.
favorite things. Is it
Yeah.
gachapon? I my favorite
Yeah,
things.
I just literally grabbed the ones that were on my table next to me. So I've got my favorite things, Gachapon, Lunar, Fright Factor, and Seas of Strife.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're starting off. So I am doing what right now? Physically, I am.
Grabbing,
Oh,
taking.
sorry. I'll give you a little bit of. I'm gonna be the kind teacher. A lot of these things are sayings, and a lot of these sayings have the word trick in them, but that's not the case. All right, so I am.
Reaching down, trick, tr
You had the first word. I am reaching into my.
bag. You're trick reaching. What? I don't know.
I'm.
Trick.
All right, I'm just gonna time you out. I was reaching into my bag of tricks.
Oh,
All right, all
that's
right.
good.
Question B of Tricky Minute. Okay, according to Run DMC's 1987 single, it's tricky. What is it tricky to do?
It's time to rock around and rock around and rock around. It's tricky. Um, it's tricky, 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 tricky. I have no clue. I only know the chorus.
The chorus has it.
Oh,
It's
really?
yeah. It's
It's
tricky to.
it's tricky. Or what? Maybe the pre-chorus. What do I know? What am I saying? Am I saying the right song? It's time to rock around, around, time is tricky.
You so basically I think it's just a mishearing of the lyrics, but I think what they're supposed to be saying, at least according to what I look up, is it's tricky to rock a rhyme that's right on time.
Oh, I was saying,
Tricky.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's tricky to rock a rhyme.
to rock a rhyme that's right on time.
That's okay. Gotcha.
All right.
I was mumbling it incorrectly.
Yes, but you were there. You were
Okay.
if someone only has one talent or skill, you might call them
Trick,
a
trick bunny.
one trick pony. Part of a clothing item where someone might keep a trick.
Up their sleeve?
Their sleeve. George Oscar Bluth or Job might take offense to the genre trick takers. What might he call them instead?
Illusions. Takers.
Illusion takers.
Yeah.
What kind of animal can you famously not teach tricks to?
An old dog?
Old dog. Perfect. Two. You got like specific points there. How many goals comprise a hat trick?
Three.
This room is known for its tricks.
Trick room. Oh wait, this room is known for its tricks. Wait, uh, Skate park.
It starts with the letter P.
Parlor? No.
Yeah, parlor
Okay,
tricks.
parlor. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um,
Skate
nine,
park.
1970s. Okay, the question is, which 1970s to present uh, rock band is known for many singles, one of them being I Want You to Want Me?
Dead Kennedys? No, wait, I want you to want me. I need you to need me. Oh, I don't even know. What was the 1970s rock band?
Yeah. So 1970s to present. Here's
Oh,
again my hint here
Cheap Trick?
is Cheap Trick.
Yes. I thought you
And
said
then
you said to present. I thought you said presidential band. I was like,
oh, sorry.
Kennedys?
Sorry.
No, 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 that's not bad.
I said 1970s, but it's when I typed in Cheap Trick, it said that they are from 1970s to present. So
Oh, got it.
just making sure that people, if they want to see
All the
Cheap Trick, they
cheap trick heads. Yeah, they can still
they still can. And
can.
then this 2001 video game features Uber tricks.
This is as tricky.
Yes. I was gonna say sorry, the correct answer is Tekken 3.
Yeah.
But it is indeed SSX Tricky. All right, you did get rocking. You rocked a few rhymes after
Yeah.
that.
After that first part, after I realized it was trick, yeah, we
You got dialed in. You were on a roll. Okay. So here we are to the point where I have to create another dire situation that you have to
Mm.
come out of.
Okay. Got it.
So, in our last conversation, we talked about the trick-taking renaissance. A lot of people were talking about trick-taking games. That was
Mhm.
2.5 years ago, too.
Oof.
But you mentioned that you first heard it from Mike DeLisio or Chris E from the Dice Tower, but we'll pick Mike. We'll just say that it was Mike. And
Mhm.
you found out that Mike DeLisio trademarked the phrase trick-taking renaissance, advocating that the punishment faced for any outside use as death. So you are tasked with making a newer phrase that highlights the boom of trick taking or even post boom question mark of
Mm.
trick taking games.
Yeah, we we had a so Chris Ray, uh,
Hmm.
designer of Xylotar and Kansas City trick-taking game and a variety of others was on a panel and we were talking a little bit about this where it was calling if it was the trick-taking renaissance like where we are now is like the trick-taking enlightenment and I'm trying to wonder I'm not a good history buff what the eras are but what is after enlightenment um
Oh, yeah. I mean, I play enough like innovation that I should know
yeah
these things, but that's the only reason I should know.
um
Era after Enlightenment.
oh I realized
Oh.
searching what is after enlightenment is more of like a Buddha it's like
It says the post-Enlightenment period,
oh
but it's marked by it says Romanticism would be one of the counter
yeah. You know
movements.
what? I like that a lot. I think trick-taking romanticism is kind of where we're at in many meanings because I think there are people who definitely romanticize um trick-taking games in that kind of can mean a lot of different things. I think there's people who romanticize very specific ones, which is cool. They love their specific trick-taking games and they don't want to deviate, which is totally cool. And then there's people who romanticize like a bygone era of trick-taking, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, where there was a boon, there was some new Japanese stuff, but it wasn't too much. Because I think a lot of people now might feel there's just too much. Um, Out and about. But I think like there are also people, maybe more like me, who are just still very romantic about the entire idea. I think there's still so much fun seeing new designs, and I think it's so wonderful to see new trick-taking games blow up and get big, and I'm very much in my trick-taking romantic era still. Uh, so I like that trick-taking romanticism. What's the right
Trick-taking romanticism.
romanticism?
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So that is yours. So you can no longer be put on trial or anything
Right.
like that. Romanticism. How about this is my mild on the fly amendum, just what I'm going to call it. So
Mhm.
I'm going to trademark it. I'm going to call it the romanticism.
Oh, the romanticism.
Not
That's,
not clunky at all. Don't worry.
no, no, I love how there's also like a funny thing of like Chris Ray, like Xylotar used to be called Magic Trick, and there's people who, or like he has a game called Egypt Tricks,
Mhm.
just using like tricks in the name of a game. So romanticism should be a game.
Honestly, if there's not one, Romantrix would be a pretty cool
Mm-hmm.
name.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
No?
Maybe like a two-player cooperative. You're on a date, you're trying to suss out what they like, and like
Yeah.
it's conversationally, yeah.
All right, look at that. We're we're just creating the best game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Now we gotta stop this conversation. I gotta go on a different dock and
Oh,
start
sorry,
typing
yes.
out. No, no, I'm just I'm joking. Uh, Speaking of names, though, that's a good segue. What do you think is the best name of a trick taker?
Oh man, 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 oh man. I mean, you do have that category, right, where it is a pun.
Hmm.
And I don't mind you also have a category where they will just be like tricky blank. Um, like tricky tides or tricky kids or yeah, tricky what was it? Tricky
Pigs? We
takes.
thought it was pigs.
Tricky pigs, three tricky
Yeah.
pigs.
Hmm.
Um, so there's that. And then I think there's names that are just like, random names. I think what's coming to mind is there was I want to see what the other ones they had, but they had a series of games um that they would call their like it was like Hidden Trader, and it was like it was like the trick taking game. And it was like a magician themed. Yes, yeah. It's called the trick taking game. But they had it still tickles me to this day. It was called Trick Taking the Trick Taking Game. And this is by Dice Hate Me Games and designed by Tovarich Pizan and Bob West. Um, but so they had a bunch of games that were like the blah 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 game. Like, let me see if I can find another one here. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so like they would take a mechanic and then they would call it that game. Like, oh yeah, deck building, the deck building game. And the theme was about building decks. Um, and it would use deck building. So they did that with trick taking, and I think that's the name that always gets me. I don't know if it's a good game. The reviews aren't the best, um, but you never know.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, they have time management, the time management game. They have trader mechanic, the trader mechanic game. So uh, you never know. It could be awesome. I do love that title, trick taking, the trick taking game. It's almost like there was a game called The Game that
Hmm.
just caused so much. Or like the same game. We were talking about that. Uh, I don't know what it is. I do personally like titles like that that just make people mostly mad.
Good. Well, that's trick taking, the trick taking game from 10 years ago. Hey, honestly, if we're thinking about combining that last thought of eras, and this was
Mhm.
kind of like pre-boom 2016. That's still early. So
Definitely. I think like people point to modern boom is like Fox of the Forest in 2014 and then The Crew in like what 2019 or something or 2018, 2017. Um as like the when it started to kind of take off.
yeah, according to BGG, Quest for Planet 9 in 2019. So
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think that was like because I remember um the Japanese scene also kind of started blowing up around 2021, 2022-ish. So yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, they were ahead of their time. Trick taking
yeah,
the trick taking game.
it just needs to be revisited now by
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
this 2026 crowd. Awesome. Ooh, okay. I, for the quiz, I will have just two
Mm.
quick questions. Okay, this one there's a lot of preface, but you really only get one option to answer one of the questions. So, well, first off, I'll start off with this question. Are you a leftovers person? Do you like eating leftovers?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the show. I was like, oh, I had not seen the show yet. Leftovers are interesting. I have, I never know if they're as good as when they are fresh. I think people say pizza is a classic example that it's or like Chinese food is like another classic example of like a leftover of those are really good and have kind of their own different vibe. The cold pizza is like its own different vibe. I think I am a leftovers person. Um, it might be from like growing up, like Thanksgiving leftovers were like such a big deal in my house. So yeah, I'd say I am. I am. Yep.
All right, good. Okay, okay. I mean, there wasn't a right or wrong answer. Just okay. The
Like,
the 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 idea here being leftovers a bit, and I talked about a couple of these things, but the fact that last time we chatted on air was about 27 or 28 months ago, so that was a lot of time and a lot of things that we discussed then. One of them being the shrinking your collection to five trick takers. There was
right.
another one about player tokens, and there was another question about animated shorts. So there are three leftovers staring at you in the fridge. One of them
Mm,
being each one of those things, and you have to grab one. So the first one being the collection, but this time you don't have to like replace a game in your five-ish that you initially answered that time. It'd just be like in the last 2.5 years, is there a trick taker that you have the ability to hold on to six? Is there a sixth one that
mm,
sticks out? That's option one. Option two would be any 2.5 years of playthrough tokens that have entered into your favorites, or any other animated shorts that have really stuck out to you in
mm.
the past chunk of time. Those are your three choices.
Oh, yes. I think there have been. I I think there's been a couple of trick-taking games in the past 2.5 years that have really blown me away. And then there's some that are like very sentimental as well. Just yeah, the fact that like since the 2.5 years, like the Lord of the Rings stuff has come out, that's been very fun to see and have like be a final product of. So it'd be tough not to grab one of those. But also just like in the 2.5 years, I mean, talking about Chris Ray, Chris has made a game that is somewhat of a riff on Hearts, called like Go Shoot the Moon, which is really, 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 really fun. I've been playing that a lot. And I think that would be like a really tough one to give up. So probably adding that if I did have to grab it and have a fifth or sorry, sixth uh, game. I'm actually, do you have a list of what five they were? No worries.
Okay, so
Yeah, no worries of what.
it,
It's kind of cheating.
I listened to it twice because I was trying to count them. I didn't write them down, but I want to say it started off with like Crew or Crew 2, and then
Uh,
you picked Crew 2 over Crew 1, which is why I revisited that question to see if like kind of the hindsight and the idea of like almost narrative, because I know that Crew 1 had a little bit more of a through line with the mission
mhm.
structure.
Yeah.
Seeing if that had reshaped your thoughts at all. For some reason, I could have sworn that you had said Schadenfreude, but I don't think you did at that time. You said you would pick a Taiki, and I think it
Yeah.
was Dwa was one of them.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
You picked I my favorite things because of the variability.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Then you talked about a few kind of team lifestyle ones, and then I think you kind of catch all those in like Tichu, Bridge, and Haggis. So we're already like over five, I think. And then
I
and then
definitely
and then you picked
standard
oh,
deck probably and cheated.
no, you said you couldn't do that. So that's what the way
Oh,
you
okay.
started off the response. But then picked you wanted to pick it was Kofri Yas as a longer one.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
My memory's working pretty well today.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I I think that sounds good because I think I don't know, like back it when it's always a funny question because you want games that can get played a ton. And it's interesting that my modern playstyles are slightly more novelty based. Like it'll be people coming over and being like, oh, here's, this new one that I got, and I'll have a new one, and like someone else will have a new one, and we'll play those. And it'll be like, oh, almost a little bit of like a little sampler size of all these things. And so on like a macro scale, I'm actually more into novelty than I am on like games that repeat and replay and like over and over and over. It's almost like if I did like a bunch of different escape rooms as opposed to like the same puzzle over and over at home. And so I think what's fun is like, yeah, like tossing in Go Shoot the Moon is like it's a newer one. And like a newer game in the 2.5 is kind of a game that hasn't, lasted that long maybe. And like having something in there that would just be some amount of novelty, even if I'm not sure if it'll last forever, is man, that seems like a classic Taylor list where it's like top five, but it's actually like a top 19. It's like definitely cheating.
Yeah,
Uh, so,
that's all right. I'll be like, hey, what are your top solo games? Like, well, I like Marvel Champions and my like 80 expansions.
yes, exactly. I was talking about that with a friend the other day about Magic, where it's like Magic is such a different game and you can play it so differently and depending on the sets, like calling like, do you like Magic? Well, it's like, well, there's just a bajillion different ways. But yeah, yeah, like it definitely makes sense that I fudged the numbers there. But yeah, I think it does on Go Shoot the Moon maybe is my sixth, just for some fun novelty.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, hmm, I definitely need to relook into that more. I know of most of Chris's games, but that one's kind of the one's like not sticking in my head right now. So
Yeah, it was one of the four games in Change of Heart, if you've heard of Change of Heart. And uh it
that's a
would
good title too.
yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
really good at those. I think I told him because he's really into Elton John to go to make a game called like Goodbye the Yellow Trick Road. And so I think that's something he's also trying to work on. But anywho, like in Change of Heart, is one of the four games that use that kind of deck or that system. It's really fun.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, I limited you to the one leftover, so you're eating up your sixth game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see a really fun animated short, if I had to toss one in there. It's called Late Afternoon, and it's about like uh generations and how it goes back and forth between like this daughter and her grandma. And oh no, I really love it's kind of what Cell Legacy is about. It's just like generations and how they transfer um not just like quirks or like, DNA or whatever, but just like occupation or like habits and stuff. So Late Afternoon was pretty cool.
Oh, fantastic. I'll look into that one. as well. Because the last one you recommended and talked about was it was the Ice
Oh
Merchants,
yeah, yeah.
and I checked that one out shortly after, and it was really good.
It's super cute. I think also another thing about like generations and like the
Yeah,
dad
that was.
comes up with my brain. Yeah.
You've got a an animated short.
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
so well, a couple things. I just as a like a heads up to you, to the audience, I'm breaking down the fourth walls. I was going
Mhm.
to try to trick the audience um a little bit. And the long story short was we were gonna do like a couple episodes, and one of them was going to be like a behind the scenes, like a director's commentary thing, and yeah, that can't happen, or else you're going to be up until like midnight or something. So we'll end the quiz on this question. That I guess that I think the only natural a consequence of this means that in like 2.5 years, uh, we know what's going to happen.
Mhm. Totally.
So sorry, I apologize to like whatever date you have on 2.5 years from now, but we'll block that off. But no,
Blocked it off. Yeah, I'll block it off right now.
but we'll end with we'll end it this way. It's gonna be a little weird. I will give you your final quiz question, and then we'll kind of have like a wrap up thought, and I will give you some leeway as to like a topic that you might want to talk about a little bit more, or I'll pick one for you.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I
And
think.
then we won't have a whole new episode. Yeah, the craziness has caught up to me, and we can't do it. So
That's okay. That's
that's okay.
okay.
Okay, final quiz question. Uh, quiz one or the quiz two?
Oh, let's do the quiz too.
You passed. You're at like a 65%, but you got 100. Thanks for sucking up to the teacher. No, there is I quiz two is wild. There's like I probably chopped 5 questions in the middle of that
Oh
quiz.
yeah. Were
I
they all sequel related?
hmm. There were two sequel questions that I binned.
Hmm.
There was a complete nonsense question in there, but I liked it. That's why I wrote it. There were two more characters from your videos when you like last time it was
Yeah.
card passel versus
Yes. Yes.
there are two more. I won't spoil it just in case quiz three needs some questions.
Two questions. Yeah.
There was another like it was like a redemption grain of salt question because
Mm.
okay, this
Yep.
is more nonsense for the people listening, but usually when I talk, like I'll mess up, I'll say something that like I didn't think about or didn't try to say. People do that, right? Like you just say something dumb, foot and mouth type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I usually don't do that with my writing,
Okay.
and I feel like the question I wrote was just so stupid.
Do you want to do a secret final? And
Wait, what?
we do that as a secret final question?
Oh,
Just-
this the like the question that I have for you is like the makeup one,
You said,
or
I was just curious. I'm just curious because you said it was silly or stupid or something, and I'm very curious to
oh,
hear.
well, okay, so it's like in the first quiz.
Hmm.
I had a question about like grain of salt because it's like one of your
That's
sayings,
right.
and we talked
Yes.
about the idea of like bias and kind of your relationships within the thing, but how they also dovetail. It was really good conversation
Yeah.
stemming from like my dumb question.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's where sometimes some of the more interesting, yeah, like discussions come out of. I It's funny because I don't know about you, but like I just in terms of like speaking and just like hearing yourself, because I'm sure you listen to these when you're editing them or like changing stuff. Like, have you ever noticed certain words or phrases that you say way too much. Like a grain of salt is like the exact one that I and like
I,
yeah, just like
I,
cutting
I'm
off.
pretty sure mine is, you know,
That's good.
yeah. I,
I think I think what's funny is is a mix of like do you know and also relating. Like I know, right? So like I think that one. That's a good one. I I do a lot of just to like you saw me. I think I've rubbed my hands like 4 times. That's cosplay. Yeah, which is great for a podcast because it
oh,
makes
perfect.
listeners. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. But yeah. So I had questions. So I guess the long and the short of it is I'll 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 chop and I'll repost some of those
Nice,
for
nice.
2.5 years. But okay, so before we get to the wrap up questions, which is kind of,
Mhm.
text on your mind and things to look out for from you, is there, because I tried to keep the quiz on a tight schedule. I did a really great job of it. It's like we're at an hour right now.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, but were there any things that we talked about in the quiz that you would want to dive deeper into, or going back to kind of the pre-quiz conversation of just some of your designs and development? And I kind of have in the director's commentary some like preset questions that aren't
Mm.
necessarily like linked to that. So you have some
Yeah.
options. That's not really a question. So where are you, what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, this is really, it was awesome that the quiz was an amazing job, by the way, on the quiz. I think there is something to a sequel, and I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire 2.
Hmm.
It's a hot game right now for those listening on uh again, I don't know, it's on a lot of consoles, I imagine, but I'm playing it on Steam. But so I am a
Well, I
big fan.
think it's just on Steam because it's an early access.
Oh, that's right. You're right. 1,000%. 1,000. Um, what's funny is I played a lot on my phone, the first one, and it was a game that I put like hundreds of hours into. It's just too much. It's way too much. And I have been deep into Slay the Spire 2 so far. I think I have almost like 100 hours, and it's just such a interesting game and discourse around the game because it is so popular and a lot of people are getting it. A lot of people are, streaming it. And um, I think it's in the zeitgeist a lot in this kind of like indie scene. And I was reading like a bunch of articles before it came out, like, oh, all these indie games are like changing their release date because they don't want to like release around the same time as Slay the Spire. And like, I think there's a funny idea of what is indie anymore and like when it becomes so big. Uh, but so since it was so big, the sequel came out, and a lot of people had different opinions on like what is a valid sequel because people are like, wow, it's way too similar to the first game. Some people are like, whoa, it's actually like way too different. I don't like how it plays. And so I think what was really interesting to me is like I think I've technically designed and developed like a good variety of sequels. I think like on BGG, they have re-implements, like that on the
Yep.
yeah, like
It's
on the
it's
top.
it's kind of funny how certain games become the re-implementation and some
Yes,
don't. It's just like, wait, what?
1,000%. Yes, I'm so interested in the logic of it all, especially because one really funny thing happened is there was a game that came out at Tokyo Game Market maybe 2 years ago or so called Tornado Splash 2. Tornado Splash 2 was the first game that came out. And then it got picked up and they called it Tornado Splash. So on BGG, it goes Tornado Splash re-implements Tornado Splash 2, which it kills me. It's so funny. I recommend anyone going online to see it. It's very, very funny. Um, uh, but so what's interesting is like just doing development for like Two Towers or like Return of the King, and then also like Sail Legacy for Sail, or even just Sail for Hemon Cave. Like, what is a sequel, and what do people expect? And so, like, it's really cool to come on and do the quiz and have like I think I even joked like SSX Tricky and that ended up I think like there's a I know it's really interesting. I don't know what it is on like a very human level, but what do sequels do for people? Like, is it a mix of comfort? Is it a mix of something that is delivered to you that you are sure you're going to like? So you go into it with like a more like less hesitant mindset. Now I'm just rambling, but I don't know if you've noticed, but like at the grocery store, a lot of time like there will be a lot of like twists on classics. Like Oreo has like 1,000 different flavors, or like check out this cereal that is now Oops All Berries or Oops All Much. I think like there is something like I just see it a lot in life, like where people are like, "Oh, I like this. Like I like Oreo, so let me try Oreo birthday cake or something." Um, and so uh, I think like sequels in and of itself are a very fascinating psychology psychological trick trick hey that I think is something that's super fun to ruminate on. So it's cool to think about it a lot. What do sequels do? What do they mean for people? I think it is like this fun little mix of new but also home, which is I mean back to like the great question of like what would I include or what would I add onto my 5 game collection? Like I think it's fun to have to look at that pick of like the Chris Ray Change of Heart game because it's Hearts, but it's also new. So it's like maybe I just love games that are similar to Hearts because it's like, oh, I love this. I know I love this, and then like here's a little twist on it. So I can have something new, have something fun, but still feel comfortable and enjoy it. So, anywho, that's what that's what was going through my head when thinking about all this sequelitis stuff. But yeah, yeah.
That's super interesting. Yeah, like I didn't even think about it from a, necessarily a product standpoint, but yeah, why doesn't, well, here I'm look I had to double check, Nabisco or whoever owns Nabisco
Right.
or whatever, like why don't they make a new cookie? Well, they make like
They
50 different Oreos.
it is so interesting. Chris Fleming had a new stand-up. Huge recommend. It's super funny. But essentially they were talking about like how often Oreo is just like twisted and mangled and like done so many different things. Like one of them was like how Oreo is like a classic cookie, but now they also like pulverize it into dust and like cover it over things. Like like Oreo dust over a cone is like a classic
Hmm.
thing now. But yeah, like it also reminds me of how like the Taco Bell kitchen will take like 7 ingredients and turn it into like it's like oh like chicken is the bread now and like lettuce cut up inside. Yeah, it's like 8 different ingredients turned around. But yeah, like I guess that is part of what I love about trick taking too, is like it's the same base, but it's always twisted and moved around. And like I was saying earlier, like they feel like sequels, even though they are technically different designer, different theme, like pretty disparate. But that feeling's still there. And I think it's a nice feeling. It's a romantic feeling. Trick taking romanticons.
I was gonna say we are in the trick-taking romanticism right now. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's interesting because yeah, part of it's sequel, part of it's almost like a remix.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Because like I think that question came up with like Star Wars 7 when it came out and J.J. Abrams directed it and had talked a lot about like, yeah, it's the seventh one, it's like a sequel or whatever. But also like there's still a Death Star and there's still like the same kind of hero's journey. And like he's like, yeah, it's pretty close to A New Hope. Like it's kind of a remix in a way. And like what does that mean, you know? Um so yeah, I always wonder like there's sometimes there's things that are like narrative sequels. Sometimes they're just like sequels in number only. Um, but yeah. It's really interesting how like I think a human or like anyone can like justify something as well. Like, yeah, it's a sequel. It's new. It's different. Or it's like kind of different, kind of same. Um, but yeah. That's a really good point. Like maybe everything's a sequel. It's
Everything.
the subtitle of the episode.
Hmm. Interesting. I'll see if This will be the quiz 2, trick-taking romanticism. Everything, colon, everything's a sequel. All right, here we
That's
are.
very good. That's perfect. That's perfect. I know.
Maybe eventually I'll run out of characters if we keep adding to that title. But no,
Oh, I
I
just
think
realized that. Yeah. Like, is there a character limit for like
it
Spotify title names?
yeah. So I use this like a service that gets it into Spotify. I don't have the Spotify one though, because I know that's I think that was like a newer thing, like after I
I
got into it. But nonetheless, I think we're fine. I think it's a pretty generous character limit. I've made some pretty stupid titles in the past. So.
I love it.
Okay, but I do think that is a good uh kind of segue into the final two questions. And well, you kind of potentially answered this one, but the my penultimate question is a text on your mind. It seems like Slay the Spire 2 has been something that you've been playing and thinking about a lot. So I guess I guess what Slay the Spire 2 has done to the Oreo that is your time and take it and crumple it up into nothingness. Has there been anything else that's been like occupying your brain outside of STS2?
That you've really hit the nail on the head with what it has done to me. Besides that, just eating, breathing, sleeping, and so Spire too. Um, I've been getting into Nirvana the band, the show, um, because they had a movie came out that was Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. Uh, talk about crazy titles. And the premise is pretty much like two guys try their hardest to just get a show at a venue. And it's super funny. It's really great. Um, and it's interesting because they had like a internet series and then they got picked up for a TV show. And so they had like a, professional TV show. And then they got picked up for a movie and then they had like a movie, but it's all kind of like the very similar like premise. Like it's like two guys just try to get it's a band, it's a two-guy band that they try to just get a show at this venue. And I mean, again, speaking of sequels, like it's so interesting that like it's the same concept, but they keep reinventing it in so many different interesting ways. And yeah, so I've been kind of like binging that. And it's been just so funny, so fascinating. So highly recommend. It's really goofy, really funny though. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
I can't say I've heard of that, so I'll definitely.
Yeah. It's so it's directed and stars the guy who's going to be doing the Magic the Gathering movie that's coming out, Matt Johnson, and
Okay.
he did that Blackberry movie.
Mm. Oh, I really like that movie.
Yeah, yeah, he directed and I don't know if he wrote it, but yeah, he was the one behind that movie. He's super funny, super clever. It's good stuff. So highly recommend.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would have like heeded your recommendation nonetheless, but now that you add that, I'm like, okay, now I actually believe you.
Yes. Okay, good.
Awesome. Okay, and then yeah, kind of mentioned segueing too. I mean, you've been we talked a little bit about some of your designs and developments and just your work as well. Um, with a lot of things that kind of recently got into people's hands with your Tokyo Game Market release of Best
Yeah.
Another Time, and then your like first big Kickstarter with Zoo and More, and then uh, Two Towers was not that long ago either. Now those were all probably late 2025, early 2026 things.
Yeah. It's
So
wild. Yeah. It's interesting how they were all different kind of uh like they're all games, on a high level, I guess. But one of them was like a Kickstarter for film. One of them was like this indie Japanese print run, and the other one's like Asmodee giant game. Uh, and one's like a development, one's like this like group of a bunch of people's games. Zone More is like me and like four other designers and four other artists, which is so fun. And then Bat is just, like that kind of wild indie stuff. So it all is like they all have like their own plights, their own journeys, and like their own uh kind of like releases and feedback and stuff. And it's so interesting to see it at like so many different levels. Like it's really funny because I'm someone who shouldn't do this. I know I talked about other designers or even I just watch things on YouTube about like this is like way next level, but like movie stars or directors reading like reviews of their movies and stuff, or like books. And I I never know if it's healthy to like look at reviews of your own things. But I'll be looking at like the BGG reviews of like Two Towers as it comes out, and it's like such a crazy different scale. And it's like it's getting, hundreds, thousands of BGG reviews. And I'm like, oh cool. And then like, Bat and Zoo are like like a couple, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Um, but it's been fun. It's been really fun, like rollout. It's always wild to create something, as you know, and just like put it out in the world and see what folks think. It's always fun. It's always scary. It's always wild. But then also still be working on like other stuff that won't see the light of day for, you know, years. Um, so it's like a really funny cycle. But yeah, most recently those three have been really fun and really wacky. And I know we mentioned it, but uh, Gamehead getting best another time, and we're in chats for what the art is going to look like, and it's been really fun to just go back and forth. And I always really like that process. Like game design is like its own thing, and it's like throwing stuff at the wall, playtesting, seeing what sticks, and then like afterward you're like, oh, and now what do you want to do with like the product itself, like the aesthetic, graphic design, like the whole box, like how do you pitch it? So it's really it feels like very different. I almost think that I look back at the days of like or like the traditional model where it's like if you were a game designer, you like make the game and then you just give it to people. And like only doing that um would be interesting. And I wonder like there's definitely pros and cons, but like being a part of all of it is really rewarding. I feel like it's really fun to see more steps in that pipeline.
Yeah, it's really cool. When you were saying that, and I mean, you kind of mentioned it too, just the different like development process timelines. Thinking, and they didn't come out the exact same time, but it's kind of like Dunkirk, where you have like the
Yeah.
like the little air battle, like going like one day and this other one being a week or
Yes.
whatever.
A
And
thousand percent. You're just like, what? Uh, and like, yeah, I mean, not to your own too much, but I feel like the packaging specifically of your game, like in the stuff like that, like I think there's small touches that you can really um can be really impactful in the product and like the presentation of what makes a game, Yeah.
yeah. Well, and yeah, I like we'll toot you can't end on a toot for me. I'm gonna toot on you. And you know,
That's it's like a third semicolon. Thank you on you.
uh,
Everything's no, no.
no, I'm not sure if that one's gonna make it, but but yeah, just with I don't know. Well, okay, this is going to get way too far, and this is going to get tabled, which is fitting.
All right.
Nonetheless, this is going to get tabled for the future. But yeah, I had like kind of like a thought or line of questioning that was in regards to just that personal design and development of your own products, kind of specifically in Of What's Left and Best Another Time, and just kind of their life cycles and then being repicked up. I mean, that's a different process too than what a lot of designers will see or do, and that's like cool and neat. And then just seeing like both products exist and like obviously they're going to change from like your version to the re-implementation. I don't know which one's going to win on BGG. They're going to have to fight each other.
Yeah,
But
totally.
like just the touches in your packaging and the way that you create a rule book is going to be different than how it exists from a different publisher. And I'm not saying better or worse, but I really like the way that you write your rules and just kind of,
You were
what
too.
is this mechanism
Yeah.
and it just like even before I played Best Another Time, I read the rule book. I'm like, yeah, I get this game. Not like I get the fun of it, but like it was just really,
Uh,
I don't know,
well,
everything
thank
about
you.
it just clicked for me. So
Well, that's very kind. Thank you so much. I I tried something new in that one where because the player count was so wild. I tried to very front load it and be like, hey, one player is just like a small little puzzle. Two players like this very zero sum thing. Three and four is like maybe more of like the traditional game. And then five and six is like a wacky kind of like more party vibe and has like a little take that. And it's something like every time I read a rulebook, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll keep that moving forward. Just because sometimes I'll open a game and it'll be like 2 to 5. I'll be like, oh, guess I'll play it at two. And two is just like this kind of like variant weird thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, like not bad, but like, maybe would have been good to know. And so I feel like with rule books, even specifically, I'm like, oh, let me try something. Because I think on of what's left or Schwartz or something, I tried like just putting on like, yeah, like what is trick taking or what is climbing shedding at the end just to help folks. And so like slowly getting, yeah, I don't know. Like I think BGG is really cool because a lot of people will give really good feedback on like forums or like reviews or something, and just taking that to heart and like trying to always improve. I feel like that's like a good goal, a good meta goal of like making games is like always trying to make improvements on the next one. But thank you. That means a lot. That's so awesome that the rules were.
Yeah, of course. And then, so yeah, so I guess the final thought, question, and send off is, people looking for things from you can obviously check out your channel. You're still making videos. We're still in that life cycle. I know that was a conversation that we had last time as well.
Yeah.
They have a lot of newer games that they can find and check out from you. The ones that we just mentioned. We did talk a little bit about Sail, not a ton, but the
Yeah.
Sail Legacy. I can't even. That's probably a topic for a different day. But I can't imagine how crazy
Oh,
that
yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. It was spreadsheets and spreadsheets and for the writer, like I wrote a good synopsis of whatever chapter and some of the dialogue would be, and then Julie, who's an amazing writer, was like, okay, yeah, like let me obviously write this 1,000 bajillion times better, but like amazing voice and like characterization and like standout moments. But like I essentially wrote like the whole like story and teleplay or whatever all the way through. And then there's branching paths and like, oh my gosh, it was just spreadsheets on spreadsheets. And we're still um we're getting near the end, but we're still finishing some of the like, oh, does this I'm sure if you've, or played Legacy games, which I imagine you have, like there's a lot of like this number goes here or like that box goes here or like yeah, I don't know. Like almost every single Legacy game I have opened, there's always been a little sheet that says like, "Hey, we messed up on here, here, and here. Here's like a sticker." And so we're just like trying to, go through everything and make sure that doesn't happen, even though, knock on wood. We'll see. But yeah, it's wild. It's a monmouth, not monmouth, mammoth task.
Awesome. Well, that's a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna do what I always do. And it's like, hey, you're giving me 50,000 different things. Is there anything else that you wanna to shout out for people to look out for?
No, no, like I hope folks are playing games and I hope I mean, if they listen this far, I'm sure they listened to the Tom episode and Alex stuff. But I would say check those out. And also, I hope everyone just has a good time playing games. I know it's gonna get summer soon, and I hope bring a fun game to the beach. Have a good time. Enjoy playing games. I don't know. Games was my last plug. Just the general sense of
Just
game and play.
just just gameplay and have fun. Well, thank you so much for taking all this time to join the Quiz 2 Trick Taking Romanticism Everything the sequel. I'm not going to let you toot on me without tooting on you. I don't know. It might be the title now. I if it fits, it sits. That's going to be my newest my resolve.
Oh my God. Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was absolutely an absolute blast. And I often will I think the reason I brought up SSX Tricky is because that will have you ever had those moments or memories in life where you're doing something and like it'll spark it's not maybe not like a scent or but you get like weird deja vu or something, and I'll have moments of remembering like SSX Tricky as the answer, just like in my general life in the past like 2.5 years. And so that's just been very much on the forefront. This was amazing. Thank you so much. Everything a sequel should be and better.
I'm glad you could redeem yourself, and now I hope you don't have that torturing you for the next 2.5 years.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it'll be a good memory.
Yeah.
Overwritten.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Intertextual Experience, the most
The trick taking quiz.
podcast about board games and any other text that they connect to. Thank you so much for spending your time here. Your support through listening to this podcast means everything to the show's success. If you enjoyed the project, consider giving us a rating or review and sharing it with any other people in your life you would feel would like it as well. Any further support, such as sending an email to say hey, following some of the show's social media accounts, or contributing any monetary support to help pay for some necessary subscriptions would be greatly appreciated. All of that information can be found in the show notes. Until next time, keep playing, watching, reading, listening, experiencing.